Hello fellow mutants, welcome back to another video, and as you guys know, there was a Netflix Daredevil show, right? It lasted 3 seasons, and it was part of the Defenders series, as we call it, as is referred to. Because, like, a mini-series per se. Because it was like Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, and Luke Cage. And essentially, they all led up to the Defenders show that only lasted 1 season, and then I believe they had like 1 season after the Defenders show. And I enjoyed every one of those shows. Those shows, Netflix Marvel shows, were phenomenal. Some of the best Marvel things and comic book based things that I've seen. And I was pretty excited when I heard when I saw Charlie Cox in No Way Home, Spider-Man No Way Home, and the fact that we're going to get Daredevil in the MCU. And then it was in She-Hulk. She-Hulk being like the worst thing I've seen from Marvel. And I've seen the fact that I feel like some people feel it's the same way too. How like they crapped all over on Daredevil. Long story short, they're making a Daredevil show, right? Called Daredevil Born Again. And according to this article, the original stunt double for Daredevil says that Marvel Studios doesn't want Born Again to look anything like the Netflix series. Why? Like, seriously, why? Like, I get that you want to be somewhat different from the Netflix series, but like, the Netflix series is like, it's really successful, man. You don't have to take like everything from the Netflix series into your Born Again series, but at least take inspiration from there. I mean, you got the same actor who played Daredevil, right? And a few other actors from the Netflix Marvel shows to be in the Defenders first, as I call it, in the Daredevil Born Again show. Why don't you want why are you saying that you don't want people to like be reminded of the Netflix show when you're casting like a few actors from the Netflix series into your Disney Plus series? Like, what? Especially like I said, when the Daredevil series was so successful. Anyways, in the latest disappointing but unsurprising confirmation that Marvel Studios has lost the plot when it comes to their take on the Man Without Fear, Marvel is reportedly going to great lengths to ensure that their upcoming Daredevil Born Again has absolutely no connections with the hero previous Netflix series. Word of Marvel's outlook toward the upcoming Disney Plus series was first made public courtesy of professional Hollywood stuntman Chris Buster, who was notably served as the stunt double for both Chris Evans in Captain America, The Winter Soldier, and Charlie Cox in all 3 seasons of the original Daredevil. During June 21st appearance on the Ikuzo Unscripted podcast. Amidst to the discussion of regarding his time working on the fan favorite Marvel series, co-host Peter Dasgovic made note of the fact that Brewster would not be working on Born Again before going to ask his guest whether or not his absence was something that can change. So this is what his response was. Because it seems, at least to me, that you are, it seems, the go-to guy for Marvel stunt visuals. He added, making references to the veteran stuntman's further studio credits as either a stunt coordinator or performer on Iron Man 3, Thor Dark World, Guardians of the Galaxy, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., The Defenders, Punisher. I forgot Punisher was part of the Defenders universe, but Punisher 2 was a great series. Black Panther, Ant-Man and the Wasp, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and Miss Marvel. So, admitting that it's probably too late to change it now that veteran stuntman further buried any hopes of his return by revealing that Marvel has told every person working on the show that they don't want Born Again to look like anything like the Netflix Daredevil series. Met with shock and disappointment by Daz Kofic and his co-host Luca Fikic, Brewster admitted that he shared in their frustration asserting, "Trust me, not only did I work on the show, I was one of the biggest fans of the show. I think that the Marvel Netflix shows was a masterpiece. He's not the only one who feels that way. A lot of fans of Daredevil really enjoyed the show, and I've heard that the show is like the Netflix show is vastly better than the Ben Affleck's Daredevil movie. I haven't seen the Ben Affleck's Daredevil movie, so I can't confirm that if it is or not. But I've heard that Charlie Cox Daredevil was better than the Ben Affleck's Daredevil. Anyways, I think that the casting was perfect. I think that every showrunner, every person who worked on the show was a genius. It was incredible experience, in my opinion, and like most people agree on, it was Marvel's best streaming show. I think that Charlie and Vincent absolutely crushed it as their characters. Vincent being Kingpin. I think that every person who worked on that show absolutely nailed it. Sadly, when Brewster had nothing but praise to lavish upon Hornhead's Netflix adventures, he conversely lamented how, quote unquote, I think now that the MCU has taken over the character, they are really, really hurting it. If you watch She-Hulk, they turned Daredevil into a cartoon. It's all animated and it looks bad. I love CG to enhance a real movement, but if you don't have any real movement, it just becomes a cartoon. It's just CGI. There's no weight to it. And what always made the action of Daredevil so good is that it was versatile, real. You felt what Charlie was feeling between his performance and just being in there, in the action, and anything that you saw, we really did, you know. We had to put somebody on a wire when we needed something to enhance the movement. We would use CG, and it was never a cartoon. It was live action, and you will never match the energy that live action has. And I agree. I can't agree with the statement overall. In the sense of how, like, the Daredevil show all 3 seasons, and even the other, I feel like other shows that were connected to Daredevil, it was hard not to get engrossed into the, like, not engrossed, but in, like, into the shows, into the episodes. It's hard not to, like, feel sympathy for, like some of the characters and anger towards other characters. I want to kick the living shit out of some characters. And, like, nowadays, like, I agree, like, now, like, the MCU, like, I feel like kind of lost the head a bit. Because, like, even when, like, phase 1 through phase 2, like, Iron Man to all the way to Endgame. The only thing I would say that was, like, really negative about the MCU at that point was Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel was that was like my least favorite MCU movie. It within the first 4 phases of the MCU. And post Endgame, they only had like really 2 great like smash hits: Spider-Man: No Way Home and Guardians of the Galaxy 3. The rest in this in the phase has been like either decent or eh. It hasn't been like good or exciting or amazing, like how most of the MCU films from phase 1 to phase 4, including Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and No Way Home were. And it's like I miss the old days. I miss the old days. Anyways, quote unquote. So I think you know that She-Hulk was a massive step down as far as the movement goes and the action. Echo isn't over yet, but I've heard it's not. It's just as bad. I've heard they were going to Batgirl it because they weren't happy with it, and now they're doing reshoots and they're planning to on airing it. But I think that could also do with the fact that there's a strike and there's a lot of content right now. So they we have it made already. So returning to the Daredevil's Disney Plus outing, Brewster's recalled, quote unquote, ultimately Born Again, I had no doubt that it was going to they were going to reach out to me. Charlie specifically requests me on everything. He always goes out of his way and fights for me to be there. And he asked them over and over to bring me in. And I never even got a phone call. Ironically, nobody who worked on seasons 1, 2, or 3 went back. They really truly don't want it to be anything like the Marvel's Netflix Daredevil. So nobody that worked on the original series, other than the cast that they're bringing back, is coming back. And that's sad. Because like I said, the Netflix show was good. It was great. And I think the Marvel, like the Netflix shows that came onto like Netflix, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, The Punisher, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Defenders. Oh, the Iron Fist, least of them, but still was pretty well received. The Universal show received. I remember, I think people had the most criticism for the Iron Fist show. Outside of that, I didn't really hear any negativity or critique around the Netflix Marvel shows. But why not bring at least a few people from the original Daredevil show into the mix for Born Again? They would have been able to help you make Born Again be this successful badass show, potentially the best of the Disney Plus shows. And I'm not saying that Born Again doesn't have any hope to be potentially the best of the Disney Plus Marvel shows, which is not that high of a bar. Because right now, WandaVision is the best in my opinion. It's why not just take the opportunity while the people are alive to help you? I don't get it. It's kind of like how the sequel trilogy, they threw out the George Lucas's treatment for the sequel trilogy, and then acted like he was dead, saying, "Oh, every day we were wondering how what George Lucas would have done when he was still alive and gave you his story treatments." So fuck you, Kathleen Kennedy. Anyways, it's kind of like that. But I don't know. On one hand, I'm excited to see Charlie Cox again, and I will watch Daredevil Born Again just for Charlie Cox. But on the other hand, I'm really skeptical about Daredevil Born Again if they're going to do that. So I don't know how I feel about this. Anyways, let me know how you guys feel about this in the comment section down below. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Be kind to one another. I will talk to you fellow mutants later.